So influencer marketing, it's shifting right now. It's shifting to a model that we all know, and it's a performance model.
Like, we started selling this product out of the trunk of our cars.
Don't be afraid to fail.
Inventory management is about balance.
Get the product out. That's number one.
I've always preached sustainable growth.
So we just started building community.
Look at the data.
Product development is everything.
Yeah, we say we're a brick, click, and pop.
But you have to love what you do.
Richard Carrion, I think I might be saying that wrong, so Richard, you can correct me when you pop on here. He's the director of marketing at Refersion, and Refersion was, they were also a sponsor of our LA meetup, so we're really happy to have them here. They are the leading source on affiliate and influencer marketing, and I know one thing that we get a lot with clients and when we're working on influencer campaigns is they want to know how they can track these campaigns. How do they know it's working? How much are these influencers bringing in? So I think Richard's our go-to guy for that. So Richard, did you want to hop on here?
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Awesome. Well, pleasure to meet you, Ivana. I've been talking to you via email for the longest time, so we're actually meeting in person.
I know. It's been probably like at least 6 months, so I'm very happy to meet as in person as we can here. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll let you take it away here.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and share my screen and desktop. Let's do Chrome. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, I may have to jump off. It looks like my system preferences are asking me to restart the app. So
that is what happened to me earlier.
Okay. I'll be right back. Give me a second.
Sure. Yeah, if anybody has any questions about influencer marketing, actually let me put my video back on here. Pop them into the Q&A box, put them into the chat box. We'll try to get through as many as we can. I know Richard's going to be with us for a little bit, so he can answer some of these questions for you guys. Yeah, hopefully he comes back on here right away. Just give him a couple of minutes. There he is.
All right, awesome. Is that working?
I see you still.
All right, so I see my screens. That's good. That's a good sign. All right, so I'll share that screen.
There we go. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay,
Perfect.
I'll let you do your thing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ivana. So, hey, everyone. Pleasure to meet you all. My name is Richard Carrion. As Ivana mentioned, I'm the Director of Marketing here at Refersion. And for the folks that are being newly introduced to Refersion, just to give you a quick plug about who we are and what we offer, we help connect merchants and we actually help connect merchants and brands with consumers using affiliate and influencer marketing, and we actually help them do that at scale. We actually offer two products. One is built and designed for merchants and brands to manage, track, optimize, and scale their affiliate and influencer marketing programs. And then we have a secondary product called Refersion Marketplace, which is the world's fastest growing affiliate influencer network. And that's designed to enable influencers and affiliates to access direct, transparent relationships with some of the world's fastest growing brands as well. So with that said, I'll put that aside and talk a little bit about what I wanted to show you all today. So influencer marketing, it's shifting right now. It's shifting to a model that we all know, and it's a performance model. And I'm gonna just walk you through why that's shifting and what are some models that you can apply to your both macro and micro and nano influencers to start shifting them from the pay per post model over to a performance-based model. So with that said, who doesn't love a little bit of data? So with that said, we've been tracking just overall e-commerce sales totals over the last couple months, specifically during the pandemic. And what we found is that right when the lockdowns occurred, we started to see increase of online sales leading up to the first round of stimulus checks. And if you notice this green line, we see significant jumps, and that's percent change week over week in terms of totals. But right when we hit the first round of US stimulus checks, we start to see that actually start to level off, which is a good sign for a lot of us that are trying to predict, but also we see that trend line that's actually consistent going up as well, which means that consumers are shifting their dollars to online, they're spending, and that's a good sign for a lot of us e-commerce brands. Having said that, even though consumers have shifted their spending habits, marketers have also shifted their spending habits as well. what we found is that marketing budgets have decreased significantly across almost all paid channels. And you can see those big influxes here across the board, from display, paid social, digital, including broadcast cable, on linear TV. And you see search at the bottom that hasn't seen a significant impact compared to the others, but it's still significant there. But with that said, what's interesting is even though marketers are pulling some of that cash from those addressable channels, consumer behavior is actually quite interesting. We're finding that consumers are spending a lot of time online, actually an increase of online activity. And one of the key areas I want to call out is social media. About 50% of those actually that took part in the study reported they were increasing their consumption rates of social during the pandemic. And of course, you gotta love streaming services. We just got Disney Plus here in the house. So that's definitely every day. What do you wanna watch? What do you wanna watch? So clearly that's gonna be at the top, but social doesn't follow that far behind in terms of streaming services. And I mean, it's apparent. I mean, TikTok has reported record downloads. And there's also a shift in terms of the demographics that are now entering this new channel where it's becoming more ubiquitous. When I say channel, I guess platform is probably the better word to use in terms of that. So when we break down the who of that consumption of social, they generally generally more likely female. They range between the ages of 18 and 49, or at least the cohort that's most likely to consume more social. And they generally are in the higher income brackets of 50,000 plus in income. And with all this said, how do brands adapt their influencer marketing strategy? How do we go beyond and be able to track those dollars more? Well, it's fairly simple. It's the shift to a performance model. So why shift to a performance model? Well, there's some key things I want to unpack here. So one is you're going to better understand your return on investment for every dollar that you're investing into your marketing. And of course, the CMO and CFO is going to be like, hey, we'd like to know where our dollars are being spent and what's the return on that. So that gives you more accountability of where dollars are being invested and be able to show those numbers. As mentioned a couple presentations ago, the numbers never lie. So that's always key and important. Next are advertisers and or brands, merchants, agencies that are buying on behalf of those folks. They're asking for more attributable activity from these influencers. Influencer marketing was a test channel for a while, and it's been growing and maturing over the last couple of years. And we're starting to see where advertisers are like, well, we've invested in there and we think it works, but now we want to actually start seeing the numbers. And that's where advertisers we want to see numbers. So that's another reason why you should shift over to performance. And third, for my friends out there that have fast-moving consumer goods, whether it's health CPG products or CPG products in general, using a performance model is a really good way to push that product, as well as being able to track the attribution there. And because brands are reducing their spend and their visibility in terms of paid media channels, shifting your model from the pay-per-post model to a performance model and still investing in influencer marketing during this time is going to allow you to mitigate those channels that you're no longer visible on. And lastly, I think we can all speak to this, is that marketing budgets have decreased for some folks out there. A lot of colleagues of mine, right when this hit, they cut a lot of their marketing budget just because they didn't know what was going to happen. So with that in mind, it's always good to use a performance model because you're essentially paying for the action. It's low risk, but higher return. And that's one of the key reasons why you also want to shift to that performance model. So shifting gears into the models themselves, I've received a lot of different POVs or point of views from folks in the industry about, well, I work with macro influencers, but they'll never move to a performance model, or I just don't do performance models from some influencers. And that may be true for some folks, and it might be hard to shift cold turkey to a pure performance model, but we have a couple of models that you can apply to your macro influencers as well as your micro and nano influencers. And even on the latter end of micro and nano, you can even apply those to your ambassador programs, your affiliate programs, and beyond. So the two hybrid models we want to introduce are really good bridges for you to do a couple of things. One, you can leverage these hybrid models in terms of your negotiations with macro influencers, those big branded influencers that have a lot of followers. And I'll dive deeper into model one in a second. And then model two is a really great way to keep your commissions in your store, allowing you to keep your acquisition costs significantly lower than if you were to hand over pure liquid cash to that affiliate or influencer or ambassador. So let's dive a little bit into model one. So model one is a very simple hybrid model, and that's combining a performance commission, so a percentage of the sale driven from that link, coupon code, email. There's all types of tracking methods out there. We actually support about 4 of them plus. And then also offering a flat fee. Now you probably are like, well, Richard, you said flat fee. Isn't that the whole purpose of getting rid of that? Well, yes, that is true to eventually sunset the flat fee, but the flat fee itself can actually be reduced during the negotiations, making your upfront costs and your risk lower, and then supplementing that with the percentage commission. And then you can incentivize the affiliate or influencer and say, hey, well, there's opportunity for larger growth and larger revenues to you if you can drive performance plus your commission, plus your flat fee. So that's really awesome. Another great point behind that also is it builds longer term relationships with your influencers. A lot of brands, including influencers, are really focused on a couple of things, and I'm sure you've heard this in the industry quite a bit. Authenticity, which is a buzzword of the year. Also, this idea that we want to align our brand values between the influencer and the brand that they're working with. But one of the brands that I have always aspired to, and that does a really great job in terms of influencer marketing, is SeatGeek. So they're some of the pioneers in terms of influencer marketing. And their director of influencer marketing, I remember talking with him, and he talked about how they want to build long-term relationships, but it still needs to be attributable though. And that long-term relationship is going to build longer brand longevity with the audiences that you are getting in front of. And also just, it comes off as more authentic to those audiences. So when we shift over to model 2, we have a couple of options here, and we have some great brands on our platform that use this model today, one of them being Pura Vida bracelets, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But with that said, one of the ways that you can incentivize your nano and micro influencers is by offering a store credit or branded swag that's exclusive to your program, plus a performance commission. So you can mix and match how you want to. You can create tiers. And one, as I mentioned, Pura Vida did a really great job of revamping their entire affiliate and ambassador program using a blended store credits, or excuse me, swag mix in there. So like if you hit a certain number of sales, you move to this tier, and then you get certain incentives plus your commission. And as you hit those sales, it just naturally happens. People get really excited. And the reason why this works really well with those folks is because micro and nano influencers have been notoriously known to be naturally brand evangelists of those brands. And generally they are acquired because they were once customers of those brands as well. And they acquire them through the product unboxing experience and making them aware of their program through social, paid media, just like you would through a funnel. But to my point, they are more likely to be enticed by having store credit and being able to buy more product that they love, or sporting your swag out in the public. And that's really cool for brand awareness from your perspective. And it's a conversation starter. And then still offering that performance commission is important as well and for this model. And that's very scalable as well, because with store credit, you can integrate with Shopify Plus that will immediately be able to take care of that on the back end. And Refersion actually is working through that today. And we have capabilities where you can automate that, which makes it very scalable. So a couple of examples of some brands. I've already mentioned Pura Vida. One of our brands we work with, Steve Madden, has leveraged and has been very successful using micro influencers. So they use a micro influencer program. They brand it as their ambassador program. And the way they offer credit to their, by offering a performance model, is they offer 2 options for the influencer. They can either A, take store credit, or take liquid cash. The caveat is they offer more in value through the store credit versus the liquid cash. It's more enticing, it's more immediate, and it stays within their store or their e-commerce store. Another brand on our platform leveraged our enterprise solutions with some custom development to build out a feature for their affiliate program and influencer program that allowed their influencers and affiliates to essentially get their gift cards on demand without additional approval. However, if they wanted the liquid cash, it did still have to go through an approval process. So the fact that they are having an approval process versus instance allows for merchants and brands to essentially push the store credit, which again lowers your CPA. Another great brand that works with us, Ofer Cosmetics, they did a really cool program recently, and they co-branded some, essentially some makeup products or cosmetic products, and they had YouTube influencers do makeup tutorials and promote that. I believe one of them was through Nikki Tutorials, and what they found was that they were able to drive sales through those channels, and the influencer was able to still take a commission, which was of course performance driven, and a lot of people know Oprah, so clearly it's working for them. So with that said, some key takeaways here, just want to wrap it up here. As I mentioned, consumers are still spending, they're shifting their dollars online, and with this new rise of retail coming out of the pandemic comes to us, we're going to start seeing a lot more digital experiences infused into the experiential retail space. And I mean in the physical brick and mortar. You're going to start seeing digital tracking, essentially getting that full 360 customer view come from online and into store, which is going to be pretty cool. And so you're starting to see dollars shift, but also as we rise, digital is going to still be really, really important in terms of the customer journey. Lastly, consumers are online more, spending a lot of time on social. And because of that, you should really consider shifting to a performance model on the influencer side. Again, better CPA, better visibility in terms of ROI, and it allows you to mitigate the loss of other marketing channels. And lastly, shifting to performance doesn't have to be overnight. And that's why we wanted to offer you a couple of these blended models that you can start beta testing with a small group of affiliates or influencers in your program to see how that works for you all. And it's a really great way to start making that shift. So if you have any questions regarding anything I presented today, you can reach me at marketing@refersion.com. Or if you want to learn more about Refersion, we have an amazing consultative sales team, and you can reach them directly at sales@refersion.com as well. Oops, let's go ahead. Awesome.
Thank you, Richard. I don't know if you have time for one quick question. It just seems to be a recurring one, but people are curious about the best ways to approach businesses to or influencers to partner with them, and then vice versa as well. And in terms of contracts, like, do you need a contract? Do you not need a contract?
That's a great question. So it is an engagement. Think of it very much like buying online inventory for display ads or through paid social. You have an agreement between you and that social channel or that network. You shouldn't treat it like a programmatic buy. They're humans, so treat them with respect and integrity, and they'll do the same for you. When it comes to outreach, there are a couple of approaches. So one, when working with the macro influencers, where you want to really get the brand out there and you want to make that big splash and make everyone know of this new product that you're putting out there, that's a little bit more high touch. And that will require that you, very much like a sales outreach to like a cold email, you got to craft it, make it personalized. Go online and actually check out who's posting user-generated content, also known as UGC, who's evangelizing your brand. Other ways that you can recruit and find those affiliates and influencers is putting it into the product unboxing experience. So as ShipStation was talking about, really take that unboxing experience to the next level. Use it as another opportunity to make a touch point of a new product, or in this case, of your ambassador program. And that's one really cool way that, example, Pure Vita has been doing with their products as well to make awareness happen there. Another way is to do retargeting. So if you have prospects that maybe you want to target past customers through your CRM, or maybe there's a pixel that you want to retarget that are known customers, and start promoting your ambassador program through paid advertising as well. That's another way to acquire those folks. So think of it like a funnel. That's the way we like to think about it. Rather than acquiring them as customers, you want to acquire them as ambassadors, which requires a little bit of work. So one, you got to definitely make yourself known, engage them, get them into your funnel, get them to sign up, and then you have to optimize and then motivate those folks. And that's where these reward tiers come into handy. And then in terms of finding and scaling those programs, then you can turn to networks. We offer Refersion Marketplace, which is, like I said, one of the fastest growing networks on the internet today. And that's another great place where you can post your, what we call offers, which drives transparency. It tells them exactly how much you're willing to pay for the given action. And that's another great way to scale and find those folks for your program.
Well, thank you so much, Richard. I know you have a stacked schedule today, and I've already kept you past what I promised. So I appreciate you sticking around. If there are any questions, anybody else has questions, yeah, reach out to Richard. The email's on the screen here. So thank you so much, Richard. I'm sure we'll be in touch via email.
Absolutely, everyone. Have a great week and stay safe and enjoy the weather.